A teacher suspended for what? Racist questions on a test. Put it in writing. Put up the picture full mass. You're not going to believe how extreme the questions were. So according to the root, here's your teacher, Alex Nguyen. Okay, Alex Nguyen teaches at Luther Burbank High School. This is in Sacramento, California. He's now under fire for including what's perceived as inappropriate and racist questions on a biology final exam given last month.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
So according to the Sacramento Bee, multiple students in the class were identified by first and last name on the test. Nguyen chose to describe the students by their ethnicities and physical appearances. Then he paired them up and asked questions about what traits a possible child of these two students would have. There's more. One of the most shocking questions on the test about how Black people have affected other races with their traits. Quote, for some reason, the African-American culture has influenced most of the student body. How? In African Americans, they have a gene for the pimp walk, which is dominant. The question began, what is the result if you cross and then there's a student name, okay, and then dominant Latina, recessive, H-Mong-like, and then another student name? The question stated that the dominant trait was walking with a limp and the recessive trait was normal. Mr. Nguyen also made fun of another student and included their full name in the question. Quote, in high school, there are individuals who are cross-eyed, like, and then provided the name of the student who seems to be cross-eyed. And blank, previously mentioned, which is a dominant trait. Quote, we call those individuals weirdos. So if you cross two weirdos, the two students named again, what are their cross-eyed traits? Offspring would result. There's more. There's an image, just in case you didn't believe exactly what the student said happened. So the image provides your prerequisite detail. 10 minutes into the final exam, the principal, Jim Peterson, went to Mr. Nguyen's classroom to pull the test. 10 minutes into the final. However, after Peterson left, the teacher, Mr. Nguyen, continued the same exam, but instead put the questions on a projector, which was supposed to make it better, and requested the class write their answers on their own sheets of paper. So there's a district spokesperson, A.I. Goldberg, said that the investigation into Mr. Nguyen's conduct is still underway. Goldberg also explained that because the exam was pulled, quote, there were challenges with the grading process, and that district staff will evaluate the exams of the students who received the test, and our academic department will contact students whose final grade has been impacted. This is insane. This is insane. So they're still investigating. Naturally, you've had enough time to understand this individual violated a directive from the principal. And instead of pulling the exam, which by the way, he should know better in the first place, but was given an opportunity, did not pull the exam, but decided to place the questions, these racist, bigoted, insensitive, unprofessional, bullying questions on a projector, providing the same spirit and same context as it being on paper. This, in some ways, to me, is even worse. Why was this even tolerated? And here's another question. How did the principal know? It seems as if the principal got a heads up somehow that these questions were on the test. How did the principal know? I'm sure there are a lot of classrooms to go into. This seems quite ironic, coincidental. But then I want you to understand the perspective of the students, especially those who were embarrassed by having their names affiliated with this test in that question context. Obviously, this educator thought it was okay to do, was very comfortable doing so. Typically, individuals like this exist inside of a system that has allowed the behavior to permeate for a very long time. Now, they want to take away diversity, equity, and inclusion. They want to take away lessons that teach tolerance inside of the classroom. You see, this is what happens. When you take those dynamics away, you get individuals who are either hyper aggressive in their racism or completely insensitive as it relates to race itself. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come.